So, how did I get here? I moved to San Francisco. I was ready for all that this experience had to throw at me. I met so many amazing and interesting people. They were all engaging in some form of creativity. I had to kick Kirk Hammett of Metallica and his girlfriend out of my party. We'd climbed through my bedroom window, which had a fire escape to the roof. My mom had always kind of cheerleaded all of the artistic endeavors that I was involved in and was kind of pushing me in that direction. I was living my dream. And then I went to the doctor, and in that one doctor's visit, everything changed. And in the process, I completely lost myself. You're about to learn what it takes to live free of fear, to finally feel confident in your work, and to step into your true authenticity as an artist. Get ready, because this is where we learn to stand out, to say yes to creating the work that we so deeply desire. Welcome. I'm Denise Birdsong, and I teach photographers and artists how to finally make their mark. Hi guys, my name is Denise Birdsong, and I am a professional portrait, boudoir, and wedding photographer who is working to revolutionize the way that the industry views and actually executes our work. I'm really glad that you're here today. In this episode, we are going to talk about my journey to becoming a portrait photographer. I'm going to lay myself bare. I want to share with you the journey that brought me to becoming the artist that I am and the educator that I am, who's an educator that loves helping people let go of their fears and step into their true authenticity as artists and creatives. As a professional photographer, wedding, boudoir, and portrait educator, I love my work. I love working with my clients in studio. I love the connection, the intimacy, the beauty, the humanity, and the human condition that I'm able to capture and truly create beautiful, meaningful art. And I also am incredibly grateful to have the platform that I have to be an educator who can share a perspective shift and the knowledge and the tools and the information needed to truly make a difference in the industry, to shake shit up. Are you ready for that? I hope so, because here we go. So, how did I get here? We're going to have to take a step back in time to figure all of that out. We're going to start with me being a young girl. I was raised by a mother who was amazing. She was such a beacon of light. She was so incredibly beautiful, creative, talented, artistic, loving, empathetic, kind, non-judgmental, incredibly important, super open-minded, and she just had the most amazing outlook on life and incredible and beautiful heart. She also had a bit of a rebellious streak and an irreverence to her that was absolutely gorgeous. My mom taught me how to be vulnerable and is a huge part of the woman that I am today. She taught me so many things about life and how to live a full and rich life and how to be exceptional. I would have to say that I'm just incredibly lucky. I think that I'm a beautiful extension of the woman that raised me on my best days. So, at the very wise old age of 17, I decided that I was going to embark upon my own journey. And I moved to San Francisco, um, Bohemia, if you will, at the time, and discover all of the things that I wanted to discover and have all of the adventures that I wanted to have and live this incredible life that my mom had kind of primed me for. You know, Growing up in the Bay Area, mom took me into the city a couple of times a month to go exploring and adventuring. And being the amazing woman that she was, we always met people along the way and had fascinating and interesting conversations with them. And I learned so much about life and people and humanity on these adventures with her. And it was time for me to go and do it on my own. So off to Bohemia I went with all of my 17-year-old wisdom. I was ready for all that this experience had to throw at me. And boy, did it throw at me a lot of experiences. I mean, I had them in spades. It was a pretty wonderful time. I got to do incredible things like actually watching Allen Ginsberg do a reading of Howl. I think it was some 35 years after he actually wrote one of the most poignant and important, in my opinion, pieces of poetry of the decade and certainly of the Beat Generation. That was an incredible experience. A fun one, spending New Year's Eve celebrating at the Kabuki Hotel in San Francisco. The whole floor, whole top floor had been rented out by Metallica for an invitation only party. That was a wild party. It was fun. And then not too long after that, I had my own invitation only party. It wasn't at the Kabuki Hotel and I didn't rent out the top floor, but nevertheless, my own invitation only party where I had to kick Kirk Hammett of Metallica and his girlfriend out of my party because I did not like his girlfriend and she needed to leave. He was incredibly delightful, but out they went. Rubbing shoulders with Kurt Cobain at the Covered Wagon in 1989 after they played a show there with the Melvins. I mean, it was bananas. I met so many amazing and interesting people. It was just a different time. People were coming through playing small clubs. I met Billy Corgan and Trent Reznor and Chris Cornell and Perry Farrell, and oh my goodness, the list just goes on of these like incredible artists that in going to all of these live shows that I got to meet and interact with and experience time with. It was amazing. And then beautiful garden parties in Golden Gate Park. And oh my gosh, never ever missing the first of the month free days at the local museums. We would all get together and either play hooky or make sure we had the days off of work and hit up all of the local museums and experience all of that art and culture together, and rooftop concerts and sleepovers on the roof of my Victorian house in the Mission District. We'd climb through my bedroom window, the master suite in this Victorian house in the Mission, which had a fire escape to the roof. I don't know if that made sense, but that's what it was. We'd all go up to the roof and we'd go up there and drink Boone's Farm. Oh God. And play music and sing and sometimes take our sleeping bags up and spend the night out there. That was usually during the summer. Only to wake up to have philosophical conversations about art and life and all of the other beautiful things in the universe. Um, we just had such an amazing time. I was living my dream. All of my flatmates, all of my friends, my coworkers, the students that I went to school with and I hung out with, they were all creatives. They were artists, they were photographers, they were poets, they were musicians, they were writers. They were all engaging of some in some form of creativity, and I got to be completely immersed in it, and it was just such a wonderful wonderful experience. I was living my dream, and I was working as a stylist and a model and also going to college, and so it was this perfect mix of like creativity, art, exploration, and academia, which for me was absolutely perfect. I loved being in school and learning so many new things, but also then exploring like all of the creative side of the world and everything that the world had to offer. And it was amazing. Every week was a new adventure with, opportunities for creative expression. and immersion. It was just amazing. I was very, very happy. Wise 17, 18-year old. And then one day I went to the doctor, and in that one doctor's visit, just one little doctor's visit, everything changed. Everything. In the blink of an eye, I was pregnant, and my world was upside down. Everything was about to change. I transferred schools. I changed my major. I moved back to the suburbs, and I started preparing myself to not be living the bohemian, artistic, creative lifestyle that I had been living, but it was now time for me to be a mom. My focus was on preparing to bring into this world the life that I was creating and to raise this child, this beautiful, beautiful child, who is one of the most amazing things that I've ever done in my life and one of my great loves as well. It was like night and day, two totally different worlds. I had a difficult time getting used to it. And in the process, I completely lost myself. And I imagine that there are many of you who can relate to that in one way or another, whether it's, getting into a committed relationship, or it is having children, or taking that, awesome opportunity of a 9 to 5 job and then kind of lose ourselves and our passions and our desires. And that's what happened to me. I spent the next 17 years of my life living far too much of a half life. I had a very high powered, high stress, high tech job in Silicon Valley. My identity became my work and taking care of the people that I loved. I was so busy being, super employee and super mom and wonder wife, to use that airplane analogy. Instead of putting my oxygen mask on myself and then taking care of everything else around me, I set about just running myself into the ground while I took care of everything else around me. And that went on for about 17 years. And then, here we go again, everything changed. I had my son, my beautiful little man, who is amazing, but is also special needs. He's on the autism spectrum, and my identity was completely in question again. I couldn't go back to my corporate job. I had to take care of my child. Even though I didn't want to go back to my corporate job, it had become so much of who I was that I was lost again and unsure of what to do next. My mom had always really championed and cultivated and nurtured and kind of cheerleaded all of the artistic endeavors that I was involved in, and was kind of pushing me in that direction. But honestly, it didn't even cross my mind that I could do anything creative or artistic anymore. Like, that part of me had been buried so deep inside and tucked away for so long that I'd completely lost touch with it. So the notion of that was just totally foreign. There was no way that that was going to happen. But I knew that I needed to do something. I had to have some kind of purpose. I was yearning for some kind of purpose. And I really did want to contribute to my family as well. I just didn't know how. And I was struggling with this for a long time. And one day I picked up a camera, and it wasn't like to be a photographer. It was just a very unintentional thing. And, I never dreamed of being a professional photographer. I'd always spent my life on the other side of the camera. From the moment that I interacted with my subject and my gear, I knew this is what I was going to do. There might have been an awful lot of chutzpah in there, but this was what I was going to do. And I had this incredible and like mind-blowing realization that maybe I could do something that I loved I could be creative. I could bring beautiful things into this world and get paid for it and make a living. I could do this and support my children and manage the responsibilities of my life. I mean, again, so surreal, like foreign idea, but I was like, well, other people are doing it. I think maybe I can do it. This person seems to doing it. Perhaps I can do it. Until I got to the point where I was like, I'm doing this. This is going to happen. I'm going to do it. And I set upon my journey of doing it. And man, did I ever. I built an awesome wedding and portrait and boudoir studio and business. We were serving upwards of 50 wedding clients a year. I think our biggest year we had 67 wedding clients. We were seeing at our peak up to 30 boudoir clients a month year round, and in the busy season, many more than that. And it was awesome. I was making great money. I was winning awards. I had really happy clients. I was being asked to shoot covers of magazines and inside editorials. I was being published regularly. I was being invited to educate at WPPI and PPA and many other leading industry events. It was a fairy tale in the best of ways, not like Cinderella, but in like the most amazing of ways. And again, here we go again. In an instant, everything just kind of slipped through my fingers. On Mother's Day, my mom died. The person who was my biggest cheerleader, my champion, the woman who gave me the wings to fly and believed in me always, was gone. Um, I apologize, but it is very much part of the story. It happened rather suddenly. It's not something that we had been expecting. We went to the doctors after having some tests done, and her doctor told her that she had 2 weeks to 2 months to live. And I was scheduled to teach at WPPI a week later. My initial reaction was cancel. I'm not leaving my mom's side. I don't have much time left with her. I'm going nowhere. And so when we got home from the doctor's office, we were both kind of in shock. I got on the phone and I called my studio and I asked my team to start making arrangements to cancel our trip and reach out to WPPI and extend our apologies and bow out of our speaking engagement and all of the good stuff. And while I was on the phone, my mom said, "Nisi, hang up the phone." And tensions were kind of running high. It was a difficult situation. And I was like, "Hold on, Mom, let me just get through this." And I kept talking, and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, "Denise, hang up the phone." So I told my team, "I'll call you guys back. Just stand by." And so I hung up the phone and I was like, "What, Mom? What do you want?" And she said, "You can't stop. You can't stop because I'm leaving. You have to keep going. And I promise that I'll be here when you get back." And I was thinking, God, she's selfish. I don't want to leave her. And I fought her on it. And during the conversation, she told me that when we die, all we have is the story that we've told. And that story should be of beauty and of love. And that I was her story. And everything that I did from the time she died forward was her legacy. And so my job was to go out and affect as many lives as I possibly could to keep her alive with me and to keep her legacy alive. And that was her wish, was for me to go and teach this class. And she said, of course you can work in your studio and you can affect one client at a time. But if you go out and teach, you're going to affect multiple people. And those people are going to go back into their businesses and they are going to affect multiple people. essentially my ability to affect a change in the world was much greater by actually teaching than by just seeing my clients in the studio. We both agreed I still needed to see my clients because it's a part of my job that I love so much. But there was a tremendous amount of value in continuing with education. And so we agreed that that was going to be a big part of my business plan moving forward. That was the goal. But after she died, I just fell apart and everything around me fell apart as well. And I know I'm not the only person who experiences tragedy and difficulty. And I imagine that many of you can relate to this on some level. Shit goes sideways and life happens and tragedy befalls us and difficult things happen and mistakes are made, and sometimes a lot of mistakes are made. And so that's what happened with me. My mom taught me so much in life. I'm so grateful for having had her as a mother and carrying her heart with me and being that really exceptional extension of who she was, having the ability to be extraordinary because she taught me that it could be. She taught me so much in life, but she taught me even more about myself in her death. I learned a lot about myself through that process. And so slowly, I began to get back on my feet. And truth be told, I know that I will always struggle with the loss of my mother. And I think it's a testament to how much love she was deserving of and how much love that I had for her. But I've become so much more clear in my purpose and my desire and what it is that I want to do with my gifts and my talents, thanks to my mom. So, there you go. This has been, to date, my journey, and I would love to share with you your journey. I would love to be the person who helps you believe that you can be extraordinary. I want to champion you the way that my mom championed me and so many other people in her life. I want to help you build up those wings that you can fly. I want you to be rooted in your value as a creative and as an artist. I want to help you grow and go on growth journeys and walk this path with you of creativity and being an artist, which is beautiful, but also sometimes incredibly difficult. That is my deepest desire, is to help other photographers step into their true authenticity and create work with heart and soul that fills them with value and pride. So, if this sounds like something good to you, I would love to have you come on over. Join me on Instagram. There's a link in my bio where you can check out ways to connect with me on a more personal and intimate level, which is the way I like to connect. I want to interact with you guys. Human connection is one of the most beautiful and important things in the world to me. We're losing a lot of it in this day and age, and I really do want to hold on to it. And I think it's imperative for the creative process to have that. So come on over and join me there. Become part of this vibrant community that we have, who is on an incredible journey to becoming our authentic selves and creative work with heart and beauty and connection and emotion. And know that it's okay to be vulnerable and that you're going to be in a safe space. So I want to thank you for being here today. I would apologize for the crying, but it's just me. It's just my journey. It's my soul. I'm sharing my vulnerability with you. And so it is what it is. I'm happy that you've been here. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you next time on our next episode, where we dive in and talk about that thing, that that missing thing that we've all been looking for, that yearning that we have in our work. So I'll look forward to seeing you on next episode. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.